What's happening, good people? Welcome to the channel. I'm Wes, aka Mr. Budget Watch, and today is the review of the Casioak Mini. So this was kindly provided to the channel by Troy, the bold watch collector on YouTube. He was awesome enough to lend me two different watches to check out and review on the channel. So this is the first one that I'm reviewing. The other one is coming pretty soon as well. So if you don't subscribe to Troy, his channel link will be down in the description, as will his social media. So definitely, give him a subscribe, give him a follow if you don't already. He's a really awesome guy, and he was cool enough to let me take a look at two watches from his collection. So anyway, as always, we're just going to get the specifications of this watch out of the way first, and then we're going to talk a little bit pros, cons, things I like, things I don't like, and everything else you need to know about this watch. So at its widest point, this is 43 mil in diameter, but the narrowest is around 41.5. Thickness is 11 millimeters. It has a 46.2 millimeter lug to lug, well, essentially case end to case end. The lug width is 16 millimeters, making finding a aftermarket strap a little bit of a pain. So this has a resin case with Casio's, I think it's patented, carbon core guard system, which is essentially a system built into the case to provide durability and provide anti-shock if you do actually drop this watch. So we have a mineral crystal, neo bright illumination, a resin strap, 200 meters of water resistance, and it weighs 41 grams. So it's very, very nice and light, very compact. So if the regular Casioak is a little bit too big, then this is the one that you want to be checking out. So anyway, let's take a look at the watch itself. So you can see we've got the all white version here, but they do a few different others as well. So starting from the outside, and you can see we have the fixed bezel. We've got G-Shock engraved and filled with grey paint, and then protection down at the bottom. And then in each corner we've got a few different things. We've got the adjustment button, which is used when you actually use the different modes. We have your light, your start for obviously your stopwatch, and then a toggle here, a little button to flick through the different modes. So moving inwards a bit, you can see we've got a white minute track with some applied high polish indices that I think look really cool. And you should see this when the actual illumination catches it and it just makes everything glow. It is really, really cool. I also like that they're applied as well. It just gives the watch face, watch dial, and I'll get flack for calling it a face. That was just an accident. But it also creates like a little bit of depth to the dial. So yeah, really, really cool and interesting use of applied indices. So taking a look at this left-hand side, you can see we've got a small subdial which acts as your date indicator. So this has a high polish centered hand, and it's white at either side just to match the finish. So luckily that high polish does make it very, very easy to use, as that is the bit in the middle. So looking at the handset, you can see that these are quite sharp and lume filled. They're also white bordered, and we've got some high polish you can see just at the end, and then high polish bordering them as well. And then in this bottom corner, you can see we have an Ana-Digi display, which displays the time and date, but also you can use that for different functions, which I'll go over in a little bit. So looking at the side profile, you can see we have those two pushes there, and then of course the screws, which is what holds the strap in place. And then it's the same again at this side, basically a mirror finish to the other side, with the same layout and same screws. I really do like all these little ridges and sharp edges on this as well. Just gives the side profile a little bit of interest. Flipping over to the case back, you can see we have a quick release spring bar system to get that strap off, which is really handy. You can also see we have a brushed case back with all your specifications, and it is screw in as well, but yet this manages to have a 200 meters water resistance, which is really impressive. You can also see the carbon core guard and the carbon logo as well. So it's a really, really nice case back. Right guys, so that is the design and everything out of the way. Now we get to the build quality, and you know what, the actual case itself feels pretty solid. I've got another G-Shock and it feels just as well put together as that. The buttons feel nice, they've got a good tactile feel, they don't feel like mushy or horrible. They're a little bit tricky to press though, they are a little bit small. So if you've got bigger fingers, then you're probably going to want the larger model because the buttons are ever so slightly bigger, and the gap in between them is a little bit bigger as well, just so you can get the tip of your finger in. So if you've got thicker fingers, then that is the one you want to go for. But actual build quality, like I said, it's a really lightweight watch, but the construction feels solid. So now we get on to the strap, and this is unfortunately the first negative for me. This is the resin strap. I've noticed that the one on my G-Shock, which is the DW5600, feels a little bit better. The resin is a little bit softer, and it's a little bit more pliable. This one is a little bit stiff and a little bit plasticky feeling. It honestly feels kind of akin to the strap found on the F91W, but that's only £10. This is not £10. So I was a little bit disappointed by the strap quality. And also you can't really find aftermarket straps that readily for these watches, so swapping it out isn't going to be easy. It's a little bit of a shame that it is so hard. I mean, it's not the most flexible. And also, another thing that I really don't like is all the ridges. They really do make dents in your arm and leave impressions after wearing for a few hours. Why on earth have they done that? I do not know, but it is quite irritating and causes a little bit of fatigue after a while. You can see the plus side, there's plenty of adjustment holes, so this is going to fit a broad size wrist difference. So I have a 6-inch wrist for reference, and I do have a few adjustment holes left, but you can see this is going to fit you guys and girls with thicker wrists as well, so plenty of scope for adjustment. Taking a look at this side, you can see the resin continues. We've got this like ridge design, and then we've got one floating keeper, and you can actually see that it sort of ratcheters. Ratcheters? Is that a ratchet? Anyway, it's got like a ratchet thing, and you can actually feel it go against the grooves, and it just helps sort of keep it in place as well. Then we've got your buckle. So this is just a plastic buckle. It is held by a screw. It's not branded though, which is a little bit of a shame. But yeah, it's nice, it does its job. But yeah, the strap is definitely a big letdown for me, unfortunately. So now we're going to talk in use and all this watch's features, and this does have quite a lot of features. This actually makes the DW5600 look kind of old in comparison. But then again, it is old in comparison. Anyway, so this one has a stopwatch. So let's just cycle through the modes so you can see it. So you can see we have your world time, and then we have a stopwatch, and then we have a timer, and then we have 5 different daylight alarms, which is really cool. The countdown timer is also 24 hours, which is very impressive. And then you can see we just have the regular time. Battery life for this watch is 3 years, well, up to 3 years. It uses 2 batteries though, which is a bit greedy. We've also got an auto calendar as well, which is really handy, so you don't have to make that many adjustments apart from when it's a short day month. Accuracy for this one is negative to plus 15 seconds per month. This one is running about plus 10 a month, I would say, just averaging it out on what it's been gaining per day, about 10 seconds a month, which is really impressive. I do think it's a bit greedy though that it's got 2 batteries though, so there is that. So now we get on to actual comfort, and for me it's a little bit of a mixed bag. The actual watch body itself is very comfortable. You can just see we've got a little bit of a downward slope to those lugs, and it does hug my wrist perfectly, which you'll see in a moment. The only thing that lets it down is that strap, and we'll talk about that when we've got the watch on wrist. Right guys, so here it is on my 6-inch wrist for reference, which is 15.24 centimeters. So I do only have a very slim wrist, but this watch fits absolutely perfectly. I think it looks really nice. You can see, you know, the lug to lug just about fits on the top of my wrist. And you know what? Like I said, the watch body itself is really nice and comfortable. And because it's only 41 gram as well, it's very lightweight, meaning it's not going to really, you know, weigh you down wearing it all day. So it is definitely a good all-day watch. But that strap, it is rigid, it is hard, and it is uncomfortable. Real shame that they've not used a softer material like silicone, or even a cheaper rubber one would have been preferred over this resin one. I think even the one on the F91W is more comfortable because it doesn't have those daft ridges in them that stick into your wrist. You can see we've got plenty of adjustment holes left over. We've actually got 4 left. So this will definitely fit you guys and girls with slimmer wrists than mine. Probably down to a 5-inch, I would reckon. So about an inch smaller than mine. So this is actually a women's watch, but I would call it unisex because, you know, there's not really such a thing now. But yeah, it's definitely a unisex watch, and, you know, both men and women can wear it alike. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, very comfortable watch head. Like I said, this strap is just not good. Unfortunately, it's too rigid, and those blooming sticky pokey things, just no good. It just really digs into your wrist. And even though, you know, it's not tight, if I wear this for a few hours and I'll take it off, you'll see these ridge marks. It also gets pretty sweaty as well, I've noticed. We've been having a bit of a heat wave here in the UK. And I've noticed that this strap does get very sweaty. Even though it's got loads of adjustment holes, it still gets really hot and irritated. So anyway, let's pop it off wrist, and you know, we're going to show you the illumination. Right guys, so illumination. So this watch does have a, I think it's a dual illumination. So it's got one LED which glows up the dial, and it's got another illumination for the actual display, which is probably why it needs 2 batteries. But the illumination is white, and it really does glow very bright. As you can see right now, you have to hold it in to actually use it. You can't just press it and leave it like you can with regular watch lume. Speaking of lume, this does have lume too. The hands are all lumed. Now the lume on the hands, it gets bright initially, but then it fades very quickly. It doesn't last all that long, but like I said, it gets really bright initially and then just really drops off quite fast. Luckily though, you do have that illumination, like I said earlier. It really catches and plays with those polished indices, and it just glows the entire face. So you don't really need the lume on the hands because they've got that high polish on it. The light catches that, and you can see the time anyway. And also the little display illuminates as well, so you don't actually technically need the handset at all. But yeah, the illumination is really good in one part, but the lume is not so good. So movement wise, I couldn't actually find what module was in this, but we've already covered off basically the specifications anyway, so I'm not going to talk more about that because we've already done it. But like I said, I've not really talked about how they work, and everything works really well. It's super easy to use once you know what you're doing. You know, you press your mode button, adjust it there, and then to set it there. Really simple and straightforward. If you do get a little bit confused, you know, there's plenty of tutorials online, and also you can refer to the instruction manual if you do get a little bit confused with how things work. But it is a really straightforward and simple to use watch. Casio really nail user interface in their watches and just make them so easy to use. The only negative is, you know, the display is a little bit small, so if you've got a bad eyesight, then, you know, you might struggle to see what it's actually saying on this digital display. So if that's the case, then you'll probably want to go for a full square or a circle with a larger digital display. So anyway, that is, you know, everything out of the way, everything that you need to know about this watch, apart from if it's worth it. So this watch currently retails at £100, and you know what, I'm struggling. I really did want to love this watch, and there is a lot I do love about it. The case itself, all the features, it's super feature packed. The lighting LED is really good, really feature packed, really tough, really durable, and it looks so nice as well. The only thing that lets it down for me is this strap. It is a real letdown, and that is my only issue with it. So for that, I'd say 85 quid. If you can get one for 85 quid, you're laughing. 99 quid with this strap, no. You probably will struggle to find it below £100 though, which is a little bit of a shame. But yeah, if you can find one at a discounted price, then you know you're laughing. But 100 quid for this, I don't know. I mean, yes, it's got a load of features. It's really well made. It's just so much let down by this strap, and like I said, it's really hard to find replacement ones. If you can find replacement ones for cheap, I'd be like, yeah, do you know what, buy it for 99 quid, get this strap off straight away, and put a different one on, but you just can't find them all that easily for this watch. So that's why, you know, I'd say it's probably only worth like 85 quid. Anyway, so that is pretty much it. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this watch. And again, massive thanks to Troy for letting me take a look at this watch. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. And of course, follow me on social media at Mr. Budget Watch. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.